Singapore is known as a country with a multi-ethnic population, but it is also home to many migrant workers. Among them are about 150,000 Bangladeshis. But the recent detention of a number of these workers has shaken the city-state. NHK World Zul Othman reports from Singapore on what's happening in its Bangladeshi community.
Since last year, Singapore authorities have detained 40 Bangladeshi migrant workers, saying they are supporters of the Islamic State militant group. This man knows one of those detained. They came to Singapore together 6 years ago. He says the man is a devout Muslim from the countryside in Bangladesh.
He is a person of faith. He was irritated by my secular views. He always asked me to go to the mosque with him and pray.
Police say 8 of the detained workers called themselves the Islamic State group in Bangladesh and were trying to recruit new members in Singapore. Their ringleader is Rahman Mizanur, who is opposed to the Bangladeshi government. His group was plotting ways to finance terror attacks in their home country. Mizanur and other members had video footage and bomb-making manuals. Both appear to have been produced by the Islamic State group. They also had lists of targets. This included Bangladeshi politicians, military officers and journalists, as well as non-Muslim people.
Recent events in Singapore indicate the growing threat. Although they were not known to have plans to attack in Singapore, that he would carry out attacks anywhere if ISIS so directed.
This was not the first sign of potential radicalism among the migrant workers. These leaflets, distributed more than 2 years ago, are critical of the Bangladeshi government. The leaflets also call on Muslims to take action, citing oppression of groups who wanted to establish a government centered on religion. An expert warns that international terror networks are exploiting dissatisfaction with the Bangladeshi government.
They essentially bought into the extremist ideological view that Bangladesh is not, according to their ideology, Islamic enough. The domestic situation within Bangladesh is now spilling out and spilling over into Southeast Asia, influencing Southeast Asia as well, through the foreign worker diaspora.
Singapore is facing a new challenge. If the country is to maintain security, it must find ways to deal with its migrant workers and prevent them from being radicalized. Zul Othman, NHK World, Singapore.
And that wraps up our bulletin. I'm Cha Tirakosan in Bangkok.